Professor Roman Kuzniar, is the funding problem, the funding issue, a European problem? Are we like the Swiss villagers about whom the first Secretary General of NATO, Lord Ismay, was speaking back in the 1950s, saying that these people were living in a Swiss mountain with a dangerous road. A lot of accidents happened on the road, and then they built a protecting barrier. And the accidents stopped. But after some years, the barrier crumbled, and they had to invest money in repairing the barrier. And they said, what for? There have been no accidents for so many years. We don't need to invest in the barrier. Are we like these Swiss villagers?
Thank you, Ambassador. Thank you, President. Well, Poland can be hardly compared to Switzerland. We are not protected neither from the west, not from the east, by the high mountains. So we have to be somehow more serious in a way regarding our approach to security, especially international institutions which may offer us a better protection than the mountains, which doesn't exist around us. Well, I have to say that at the beginning that all questions and problems that we are discussing right now here, which were discussed and we will be going under discussion in the hours to come, almost all of them are perfectly, I would say, answered in a very comprehensive, exhaustive manner in our project of the new strategic concept which we produced here in a group of experts, both from University of Warsaw and from Institute of Strategic Studies from Krakow, and we had a chance this morning to hand over the text of our strategy to Secretary General Rasmussen at the university. So that's our I would say general contribution to the discussion, to the debate that we have on the future of NATO and on how we see, Mr. Ambassador, our place, so what's our approach, what's our attitude. And I have to say that although we are not Switzerland, still security environment assessment, our assessment of the Atlantic Alliance security environment is rather optimistic, is rather positive. Why? First, because of growing globalization and interdependence, which is really upgrading general, I would say, general security at the global level. Then because we still enjoy, we NATO, we Atlantic Alliance, we Poland is a part of, strategic primacy in the world, And third reason why we feel quite confident when we analyze our security environment, a growing role of the European Union. Sometimes we are not, I would say, bold enough in admitting, in appreciating contribution which is bringing by European Union to the security standard of not only of member countries but also of our immediate environment. We do not obviously ignore threats and challenges. There is quite a chapter on this which we devote on these issues here and very specific. But we think that we Atlantic Alliance, we are still in the position to cope with them quite effectively, to manage and to influence the changes which are taking place around us in a positive way. After all, almost 70% of global military expenditures belong to us. You know that 100% security is never achievable, and better not to try to attain it. We all remember Soviet Union once tried to be 100% safe, and we know the outcome. I remember very well a famous professor of my university, Leszek Kłakowski, who after 11th of September and in the context of war on terror, who said that we will never as human beings, as societies, as nations, we will never be 100% safe. We will always stay vulnerable. So, but having said so, I'm talking about a general positive picture of our security situation, and we don't think that the Atlantic Alliance is less important than, let's say, 10 or 15 years ago. There are at least 3 strong points which underpin raison d'être of the Atlantic Alliance. First, we do think that the very existence of our alliance, of NATO, is a source of security and stability, not only here, but around us. First point. Second point, future is uncertain. I do agree on this, and we cannot predict what kind of, which way, what direction will take geopolitical changes which started like 2 years ago. We think that 2008, that's the moment, year which is with the crisis of both financial crisis and the war in Caucasus. That's the year when the deep geopolitical changes started to take place. So second point. And third point, obviously NATO is and should stay as an instrument we are using to shape international order in accordance with our interests, values, principles. But I have to say, coming to our vision of the identity of the Atlantic Alliance, we are not as courageous as I would say, courageous, let's put it that way, as, for example, Zbigniew Brzezinski in his article in September-October issue of Foreign Affairs. And so we see it, and I do agree, probably our position is closer to Andrew once. So first, NATO is about the security of the West. We see NATO as a Western alliance, not global one, but that's unrealistic, as security of the West. Second, we see Atlantic Alliance as a bedrock of security and unity of the West, linking North America and Europe. We strongly believe in this necessity of maintaining, reassuring this link, strategic link between us, Europe, and the United States and North America.